What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? You could say it with me. You could say it with me. Say it on three. 1, 2, 3. DJLittleRock.com. One more time. DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Today on the program, I have Antonio Lumley of Xtatic Books. Oh, you know who that is. You've been listening to this podcast. You heard his story about a year ago. Well, we're just going to catch up with Antonio Lumley in the next few minutes, so stick around. This week's shows, I have two public shows this week for your pleasure, for your karaoke and video dance party needs. My first one will be Friday night, my typical, usual Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. I said karaoke, you're the stars of the show at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. They got a full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night, so if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, check out the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. Be there, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. And then on Saturday, another public show at Spectators Grill and Pub in North Little Rock, real close to Sherwood, Arkansas. Yes, North Little Rock, Arkansas. Spectators Grill and Pub. That place is cool, too. I've been there. This is probably my third, fourth, fifth time, whatever. I'm covering for DJ Rick, who had something else he had to attend to. So he allowed me the privilege and the honor of taking care of his people at Spectators Grill and Pub in North Little Rock, 8 p.m. until at least 12. I think last time we went till about 12:30, maybe a little bit after. I mean, the people were just having a good time, and I was having a good time with the people, for that matter. They got a full bar, kitchen. They get to grill and pub, so they got a grill and they got a pub, and they got pool tables in the back. They got darts, and they got karaoke and video dance party with yours truly this Saturday night. So depending on when you're listening to this podcast, I might be there, I might not be there. But I'm always at the Rab on Friday nights, so you can find me there. That's enough intro. Let's get into it with Antonio Lumley. I'm kind of excited to catch up with Antonio Lumley and find out what's going on with him and Xtatic Books and Brook and Brax, of course. You know, the boys. All right, let's. I got him on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the YouTube version on youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Skyping Antonio Lumley now. Oh my goodness. Right on time, and he's there. Looking good. What's going on, Antonio Lumley, Mr. Xtatic Books himself?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of, I'm very ecstatic to be talking to you once again. My goodness, you're a hero. You are my superhero. Tell me what's been going on in the world of you, Mr. Antonio Lumley.
Oh, man, it's been a long time. The last time you and I spoke, I looked. It was Cinco de Mayo of last year. Did you know that?
Cinco de Mayo! Ay, 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 ay!
Yeah.
Well, here we are. You know,
it's only. So I mean, it's been a lot going on, man. You know, as you know. So, but yeah, we just been, trying to get through things and caught COVID twice. The whole family caught COVID twice.
Wait a minute. That's big news, man. Because I'm hearing. I sift through the. All these lies or truths to try to get to the bottom of what the COVID thing is. I mean, I'm vaxxed, I'm vaxxed. I did my diligence. But, I mean, how did COVID treat you and the fam? Everybody all right? Any long term?
No, I mean, we definitely, went through it. The first one was the most difficult one. That was the Delta. And then the Omni wasn't as bad. And, luckily we haven't caught anything since. But, yeah, we've been blessed, man. Very blessed.
Okay, I mean, but when you caught it, were you taking precautions? Were you wearing masks, or were you living your life?
Absolutely.
Huh?
No, we were definitely taking precautions. I actually got it at at a work event here in Florida, because you know about Florida.
Your governor's buck wild, man. He's crazy. I like him. I like crazy. And Florida.
I do very well with crazy, man.
Yeah, Florida's great anyway, man. I mean, that's my home. Born and raised in Miami and Florida Keys. Yep. So I know that people come down there and just go crazy, just go nuts, just forget about their troubles and come to Florida. And that's that's the attitude. It's always been. I don't care if there's a Democrat or a Republican in the governor's seat. We do things our own way. There's a reason that there's a whole, the story of Florida Man is a thing, and that's a legend of Florida Man. If you're a Florida man, you're going to do crazy things. Hold My Beer is like the one of the.
Yeah, you definitely know it. Yeah, Florida is special, man. Like I moved down here. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm an inner city guy. Right, that's my roots, and but when I moved down here back in 2004, I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave. I didn't want to shovel snow anymore, man. I didn't want none of that stuff. So
yeah, once you get the sand in your toes, the orange juice, orange juice in your veins. I think it really does. It takes a hold of you. Well, I mean, I know that a New Yorker's favorite wine is "I want to go to Florida."
That's hilarious.
No, and there's a reason that people retire down there. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but the sand, the sun, the ocean, it just makes you feel good. The qualities, the healing properties of the ocean, the salt water. I know when I go in the salt water, I'm drying up. I'm here in Arkansas now, and I'm drying up. Oh, you
are dried up now.
Oh, my gosh. I remember that if I got a cut on my skin, or if I got some kind of an ailment, I'd get in the water, or even just looking at the water made me feel that much better. But you're inland now, right? Aren't you in Orlando somewhere?
Yeah. I'm in the Orlando area. Mm-hmm. But the sweet thing about the Orlando area, aside from Mickey Mouse and all that, because once you do that for the first year, like you're over it, right? So then you have to deal with all the tourists, which is fine. It brings, builds up the economy. That's dope, right?
Yes.
But the sweet thing about Orlando, you can go an hour and a half in either direction, east or west, and you're gonna hit a beach.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing I missed about the Florida Keys is you can go out my back door and get in the water.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah.
I have not. I plan on bringing my family down to the Keys. You need to be there to show me around.
Oh my gosh, my grandma's still living down there on the ocean side. I mean, on the bay side. And then my mom had a house on the ocean side. She just sold it and is moving to Tennessee. So my grandma is pretty much the last bastion of freedom down there. Every time I call my grandma, she says, "Come on home, son. I miss you." And I go, "Oh my gosh, if I go down there, I will never come back." Just like you said, you anchored, and anybody that's familiar with this podcast, hey, we're just catching up with Antonio Lumley. If you want to hear the whole story of his life, growing up in the hood and getting inspired by, bullies and what have you, and how he started writing his books, you go listen to that last podcast. We're just catching up now. We're finding out what's going on since we've talked just a year and a smidge ago. But my goodness, man, COVID twice, the whole family. How many people in the family again?
There's 4 of us.
4 of you, and you're all. I mean, were you all laid out in the house on separate couches?
We're good. I'm the oldest, so I caught it the worst.
Oh my gosh!
But my kids breezed through that so fast. A day or two, they were good.
Okay, so believe the hype. Okay, the kids get through it. That's great. Yeah. It's nice to have that knowledge.
Fortunately,
yes, very fortunately, and I know that there's deaths, man. That people keep you know, and I listen to NPR sometimes in the morning, and then I listen to Fox News sometime in the morning, and I listen to NPR, and they're still reporting all these, you know, 1 death, 1 hospitalization. Oh, we didn't have any hospitalization. Why are you still reporting it, man? There's cancer. There's car accidents. There's smoking. Yep. You know, people are having you know, trouble with other ailments, man. They just keep reporting this and reporting this. I don't know. Is it fear? Is that what the underlying is? I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, you know, everybody has their own agenda, and it's like it's really hard to believe. You got to really kind of just, you know, trust your own instincts and your own experiences. And I say go with that. Yeah. You know?
But I mean, hey, look, yes, your gut feeling, and you're listening to your gut biomes, and that's scientific. There are actually little creatures living inside your body. Yes, kids, if you're listening right now, and I know you are because he's a children's author, there are little creatures living in your gut, and they're helping you to thrive and survive. And those creatures, when they get fed the right way, they make you start thinking good things and happy thoughts, you know, and that's why people have to eat right. I'm getting
Keys, Dan, you got to tell them it's called the immune system, right?
That's right. You know, and I know my immune system's good because when I was a kid, I played outside. I played in the dirt. I played in the mud. I've used gas station bathrooms. My immune system is just fine. I did go ahead and take the vax, you know, because I believe in the science. And if enough people are telling you, hey, this is the way to go, fine. I took the vaccine. I'm happy, living my life. Take the mask off. It's a good choice for me. You know, I don't give hugs and kisses to everybody like I used to. You know, I'm Cuban. I'm half Cuban from Miami. So, you know, hugs and kisses. That's how we grew up, you know. And then here you are.
For the course right there.
Yeah, you're living in a tourist town. I lived in Winter Park, for about a year. And I loved it back in 94, 95. And that's right next to Orlando. I like the life that you're living. Sands. I mean, not really sand because you're kind of far away from the ocean. People think that, you know, if you live in Florida, you must live right next to the ocean. Well, if you're inland, if you're in the Orlando area, yes, you got the mouse. You got the house of the mouse, but you don't have the ocean. It's an hour away, and you still got to travel. But cool, man.
That ain't bad, though. Ain't bad.
But I'm glad that you got through the plague, the current plague. I'm hearing.
Hey, Keys Dan.
Go ahead.
Keys Dan. I always knew that we would make it. You know why? Because I have good friends, and they're ninjas.
Yeah, they are.
I was always going to make it. Yeah.
you know, and I know you're leading me into off of the tangents that I'm taking you on, and you want to talk about Brook and Brax.
No, we can talk about whatever you want.
No, we talk about whatever you want. If you want to talk about Brook and Brax, those you know, inner city ninjas of I don't know. Did we ever determine they were like indeterminate race? Well, just people that could be you or me, could be anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. You know,
and that's one of the sweet things that I'm going to say for your viewers who haven't seen the first interview is that, you know, I represent Xtatic Books, and we're all about diversity. You know, that's one of our biggest platforms. We do anti-bullying. We want children to read. We encourage that. We want kids to do great, all children. And but one of our biggest things is diversity, and that's why the main characters, Brook, he's half black and half Chinese. Brax, he's half white and half Mexican. Their teacher, their sensei Iron Post, is Japanese. All that we do all that to say that race really doesn't matter. What matters is what's in your heart. and what's on your mind, what's in your soul. Is that good or is that bad? And those are the parameters that we deal with.
Yeah, race is definitely a construct of the people. You know, when you start to develop a society, then I remember when I was growing up and I was telling one of my coworkers that, and she happens to be African American and very nice. And we were talking to each other, and I remembered, and we were talking about growing up. She grew up in Stuttgart, Arkansas, which is kind of a racially charged kind of a town, small town, maybe population under 1,000. And I know I did a show there. I did a DJ gig at their Family Dollar doing an grand opening, and I witnessed it. I was working with a couple of black girls, and then the white guy that was working the stove, he says he said something that was a little bit interesting that I didn't like too much, and I went, I'm going to go back and play with these nice people over here, and you just stay over there by yourself and you do your thing. But I probably shouldn't have said the name of the place I was at. But anyway, but I guess I did. But no, hey, I know that people are people no matter where you go. There's even a song, "People are people, what should it mean? You and I should get along so awfully." And once you develop a society, I remember, and I know I went off on a tangent, but what I told her, the bottom line was, we saw our differences. The kids growing up, we saw our differences. We celebrated them, and we got along. When you're kids, you don't know race. You don't know religion. Yeah. You only know what you got taught. Nature versus nurture.
It's taught to you. That's exactly right.
And you're a teacher, being a writer of children's books, you are shaping minds for the future. You are in charge. You've put yourself in charge of training these young minds to become better than we were. That's all we can do for our children, is to teach them to become better than we were.
Exactly.
How are
that's
how are Brook and Brax doing that?
Man, they're doing good, man. These are like my two other kids. I have two boys.
Yeah.
14, 11. So these kids have been like my adopted kids, so to speak, I guess, or created kids. And they're just very dynamic, same as my kids.
Yeah.
They bring a lot to the table, but they also bring fun. They're smart. We encourage kids to do good in school. We encourage parents to also play a big part in your kid's life as far as disciplining them and showing them the right way. You gotta. This is what I learned, Keys Dan. You have to reward them when they do good, and you have to discipline them in some kind of fashion when they do bad, so they understand consequence. And that's going to bring them through the rest of their life. They have to know that if they do this thing, let's say it's a bad thing, guess what? Something's about something. But you better expect something in return. And the real world is not going to be as nice as I am, But I have to instill something in them to let them know that, hey, there's consequences. I always tell my kids, there's consequences and repercussions for anything that you do, including myself.
Well, children
need. We're not.
Yeah, children need.
We're not exempt from that either. You know what I'm saying? If we do something bad in this world, there's consequences, repercussions. That's how you have to teach them, and so that's what we do in real life. But then also in the book, man, we have a lot of life lessons in the book, but we really keep it fun.
Well, I mean, children definitely need parameters. You can't let them go running buck wild. I had a little brother and a shoe throwing mother, so I didn't really mean to make that rhyme, but it was pretty good. Rhyming it was not a crime, and I did it again, my friend.
I get it.
No, but I know that my brother and we used to get into fisticuffs, and my mom would say, "Take it outside in the grass. Take it outside in the yard." Or she'd throw a shoe at us, and make sure that she knew that we knew she's the boss, that she's in charge. And if she doesn't want us acting up, And now you have a 14 and 11. What kind of mischief are those two boys getting into? Are they generally get along with each other, or is a little stop touching me, stop touching me? He's touching me.
I mean, thankfully for now, thank God for now, they do get along. They get along very well. But here's the thing: they've been in training for a long time. So we I don't want to say we've just gotten to this level, but we've been at this level for definitely for a few years. But you gotta start disciplining your kids young, man. You have to. They have to understand. And by discipline, there's multiple ways to do that. I'm going to tell you a story. I come from a predominantly black neighborhood, right? And when I was growing up, there wasn't no timeout. I didn't know what timeout was. I went to my school and some of my friends were getting on timeout, and then they weren't paying attention. And so I'm like, timeout? What is timeout? I know a belt. I know what a belt is. I don't know what timeout is. That's new for me. So that's one of the things that we implemented, and surprisingly, it worked. But I think it worked because we started them at an early age, and then as they got older, because you don't want to keep putting it. Look, there's certain times your kid might deserve a spanking. I'm not gonna lie, right? Let's be honest, right? There's certain times you warn them 2-3 times, and then you tell them, look, you're about to get a whooping. And they do it again, okay? I don't like to do that. Never did. But again, there's consequence and repercussion because they were testing me. They were thinking, oh, he's not going to do it. Well, guess what? One day, yeah, you're going to get it. But here's the thing, though. Once they got older, I started doing a little bit more militant things I learned from my brother-in-law who was in the Navy. I had them doing push-ups and sit-ups. And after every push-up and after every sit-up, you have to say, sir. And if you don't say, sir, you have to start over. And that really worked. And I'd say, okay, you owe me 20 push-ups and 20 sit-ups. This is when they're like 6 or 7 years old. And then they would do it. Of course, the form was wrong. So try to correct their form. And I'm like, nope, that doesn't count. You got to start over. And then, eventually they would get it. And they didn't want to do it, but the sweet thing about that is now they're getting stronger at the same time. So it plays in well with what we're trying to do.
Antonio Lumley, that could backfire on you because eventually those kids are going to get bigger than you. but
they're definitely going to get bigger than me.
You will always be the boss. My mom is a good head and a half shorter than me, and she could still throw a shoe at me if she wants to. If I walk outside in my socks, she is going to whip my hide. But that's something. Yeah, timeout. What is that, man? I know my mom and my stepdad. They tried to do different ways of. They were tired of breaking sticks over mine and my brother's butts. But they said, okay, let's go talk to somebody. Oh yeah, timeout. But all right, you were talking about growing up in a neighborhood. I remember growing up in a neighborhood. If you grow up in the right neighborhood, you don't have just your mom and dad to contend with.
Right.
You have the whole neighborhood is part of your upbringing, and they probably have a committee, that comprised of your parents, all the parents on the block, and they can all discipline you if you get out of line. Did you have that kind of thing?
Keith Dan, that's how it used to be. That's how it was supposed to be, right? They call it raising a village, right? Where everyone has a hand in raising the neighborhood children. It ain't like that no more. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know how in one generation we went from going outside and playing. How do you find all your friends? You look where all the bikes are, or the skateboards, or wherever. All the bikes are over there. They must be at Billy's house. Oh, all right. Yeah. That's how you find out. Now, how do you find out? You stay sitting on your couch, on your chair, and you look for them online. Oh yeah. I'm talking with all my friends. You haven't gotten out of that chair all Saturday long.
All day long.
Get up out that chair.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
got
that's right.
the kids, and in one generation, and I know I'm starting to sound like my dad, they don't go outside and play. You know,
Yeah, they don't.
these kids today. But you're teaching them, okay? Brook and Brax, they do go outside. They do
They
go out and
outside.
learn
Yeah.
things. Do your 14
Yeah.
and 11-year-old, do they take martial arts at all? Are they becoming Brook and Brax? Are you slowly molding
Yeah.
them in that way?
Yeah, they were always my inspiration, for the characters. Unfortunately, since like COVID started, which was a couple years ago now, mind you, my kids have been in martial arts for like 6 years. And there's a dojo in Orlando called BBFC, Black Belts for Christ. Awesome dojo, great dojo. I'm telling you, like the head of BBFC, his name is Joe Morajan, Sensei Joe Morajan. And if anybody's in the Orlando area, you're in Florida, go check them out. He is amazing, him and his wife. So anyway, but since COVID, we have not been back. So it's been about they've had like a 2-year layoff, and they've been doing other things, So it's like, I don't want to push them in a direction, although I want them back there.
Right.
But they have other interests right now, so I'm not trying to push it. But at the end of the day, I have the foundation that I wanted. You see what I'm saying? They have that foundation.
Okay.
And that's the key. That's the key. And that's the other thing. Like I could push my kids to go there or any place else, but I don't want to, because I don't want them to resent me for forcing them to do something that they may not be interested in at this point in time. So I let them do their thing. Of course, I always ask them, like, you sure you don't want to go back? You sure? But they're doing other things, basketball, drawing, and all these other type of events. But yeah, if you guys in the Orlando area, BBFC in Orlando, go check them out. Those guys are great.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about being part of a team, going out and working with others. That teaches you how to work well with others in any respect. You always are going to have a boss. Even if you work for yourself, you're going to have a boss. The people that buy your goods or get your services are in turn your boss. So you have to know how to work with people. Now, you mentioned that it's black belt for Christ. I had an image of Jesus in my head saying, turn the other cheek. Hi-ya! Turn the other cheek. Hi-ya! Turn the other cheek.
Hey, Keys Dan, if you look at everything that I've done for Brook and Brax, their teacher, Sensei Iron Post, is a rendition of him. And guess what? He's Cuban too.
Yay! Macuano de la Guantanamera.
That guy. Hey, have you ever seen a Batman movie to where he's fighting evil villains? Batman doesn't use guns. So what he does, he fights you real close and he just breaks you down. That's him.
Yeah, I just finished watching the Justice League. Man, he might not use a gun per se, but he has these projectile weapons that keep they're really pushing the boundaries. I know Batman in the 40s, when he first started, he did use guns, but then they retconned him where he doesn't use guns, and he became a political source of politics, for the people that didn't like the gun violence so much.
Right.
And it has been that way ever since. But he does throw a lot of projectiles.
He's got the batarangs. Those are like ninja stars. Batman, and see, here's one thing I want you guys to know, that the watchers out there. I am an avid and an old school superhero guy. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't do this for a living. This is not my full-time job. I'm actually in construction management. That's how I make my money, my bread and butter. But the ecstatic book side, that's my passion. And so I bring a lot of the things that I've learned from back in the day to ecstatic books. You know, I was telling somebody a story the other day. I don't know if you remember, like back in like the old, like, I'm gonna date myself a little bit, but the old like early '80s kung fu movies and stuff like that, where they're flying on strings, and the Five Deadly Venoms, Crippled Avengers, like that, those type of things. That's in my heart, and that's what I'm bringing. And so and I'm gonna jump to Brook Brax just a little bit. Part of the storyline that I have for book 2, guys, go get it. Brook and Brax, Rise of the Anaconda King, that's book 2. Brook and Brax, Undercover Ninjas, that sets the stage, that's book 1. But in book 2, I bring in that feel, but I made it new, like that old school, what the old karate movies and kung fu movies that were based off of deception and revenge, right? That's the coolest thing. That's the coolest thing. And then you have somebody goes rogue and they go kill a village. Of course, we're not doing that. This is a children's book, so it's all clean. But I do a certain rendition of that, to where there is a revenge factor in somebody trying to hunt somebody down. So I bring that old school element, but I made it in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, have you gotten any pushback from parents? With the maybe there is a slight violence. Has anybody ever told you anything?
No, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Look, if anybody is looking for, and I need to choose my words wisely, but if you're looking for unicorns and dandelions, we're not for you. We're not for you. But if you're looking for just a cool story with some good kids doing good things, we talk about kids doing good in school. We talk, I mean, there's so many elements, that diversity, anti-bullying, martial arts. We bring so many elements to the table that, we can't be denied. We can't be denied. And to be honest, I don't know who else is doing it like us. Not only that, but we bring illustrations, comic book illustrations for those kids that, particularly that don't like to read much. Like I was a comic book guy coming up, and I used to like comics. So what we did is we combined both elements. So now you have the visual aspect, and now you have the reading aspect, the text aspect, and everything is clean. Everything is clean. So yeah, I mean, the same way Batman fights in cartoons and stuff like that. Yeah, we're doing that too. We're doing that too.
So these are boys. Plus, this is something that boys can really latch on to. I remember as a young lad, of course, I definitely read comic books. I had playing cards and played marbles. These are all, and trading comics with your friends and telling the stories that you read. Oh my goodness, tearing through all these books and reading them. Oh, hey, did you get Batman number 99? Did you get that Rise of Anaconda King? Check this one out. People are going to be telling the stories that you have written down. This is like a magic power that you have. Hey, you got 2 boys, you write about 2 boys. You have inspiration, you write down that inspiration. They were in martial arts. I was in martial arts. I got yellow belts in so many different martial arts. I mean, because each belt you got to pay a certain amount of dollars. There's a dollar amount. I was like, I'm too cheap. I'm too cheap. It's not for free. Yeah. So I got a yellow in Goju karate, Taekwondo, Hapkido, Aikido, Filipino Cali. Kickboxing, kickboxing didn't have belts, so I used to just we used to just kick each other, martial arts is so good if you get the right discipline, if you have the right sensei, the right master, the right teacher, they are going to help to shape minds. I guess later in life, the last thing I was learning was Taekwondo, and that's Korean. And there's aspects to where you have respect. Yes, you have to salute the Korean flag, and as well as the American flag, because it came from there. You're showing respect for the place that it came from. These people that thousands of years ago they developed this art, and you are showing respect for your ancestors, for their ancestors. And you already mentioned the race. There is no race. That's a construct. We are all the same people. So what you're in essence doing is giving respect to your own ancestors from way back, for giving these lessons that have to stand the test of time. And then here you are putting them into comic book form, making them digestible for the kids.
Absolutely, man. It's all about respect. It's all about respect. We have to respect each other. And, that's one of the teachings that I have in the book is, and which is what my kid sensei always, when you come into the dojo, the first thing you do is you bow. You have to respect that place, because you're learning, you should be privileged. It's an honor to be there. Not everybody can be there. You know what I mean? And I've seen I've seen what it does to kids. I've seen the empowerment that these kids have. Oh, and let me get to the boys thing, because you said I have boys. Here's the thing. So when I did, I'm going to tell you. So when I did book 1, Undercover Ninjas, I had an interview with this lady. Her name is Dolly Talks. And I'm going to be doing an interview with her pretty soon. But one thing she said, Antonio, I liked your book, but where were the girls? And I said, don't you worry about that. I said, no, I caught a little flack for that, but I represented for us men and us boys. So I said, look, don't you worry. I'm going to get the girls involved. That was my plan from the very beginning, but I had to get the main characters established first. Book 2, Keys Dan, the girls are whooping butt in book 2. Actually stronger than, I'm going to tell you I'm going to give you a little sneak preview. So the sensei in book 2, Rise of the Anaconda King, Sensei Iron Post, his daughter name is Akari. And if you look at the video that's in the background right now, that's what he talks about. And so his daughter's name is Akari. She was raised, and when you're raised into the martial arts, like you're practically born into it. Like you ain't no escaping that. So she has more training than Brook and Brax got the training later. So she has 10 plus years of training. She's whooping their tail, both of them. So what I'm trying to tell you, I got the girls covered in this one, because the girls show a lot of strength, a lot of power, because I've seen it. I've seen it in my kids' dojo. I've seen the girls beat the boys, for sure. And that's because of the sensei. You see what I'm saying? So it all goes back to the teachings of technique and power and having self-control and, internal strength. I'm doing that for all the kids, girls, boys. I don't care what color you are.
Antonio Lumley, this is telling me that you are a man that gives the people what they want. Okay, I know, was it George Lucas? He talks about Star Wars. It's not even his anymore. It belongs to the people. So he puts out this movie or this group of movies, and then he gets feedback from people. They get fan fiction. I suspect that your books, eventually people are going to start doing their own stories. Once you put out the action figures for the Brook and Brax, the kids are going to be playing outside. And anybody that has gone to ecstaticbooks.com, there's an illustration of the second book, The Rise of the Anaconda King, and there it is. There's ladies right on it. But you had some pushback, some feedback on the first book, and it said, "Hey, where are my girls?" Bam. That's right. Here's the girls. Hey, you did it.
But Keys Dan, I told you. But see, from the very beginning, I knew that was going to happen. I anticipated that happening, but again, I had to establish the main characters first, and then at the end of the first book, that's when I threw in the first girl main character, and that's why when you look at that cover, she's at the front of the book, because that's what we represent.
Absolutely, man. And that's more representation, more things for kids of all shapes and sizes and different, that look, hey, maybe they don't look exactly like you do. And you're talking about, one's a black. What was it? The one
Black and
character,
Chinese.
black and Chinese,
Yeah,
and
Mexican and white.
Mexican white. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
half Cuban, half Irish, half Italian. I know that's three halves, but I'm a big guy.
Three halves.
I don't think that anybody is going to be one thing ever. The diversity,
Yeah.
the fact that we blend cultures and America. My goodness, that was the part of the design. Come on over here.
Yeah.
You could do pretty much whatever you want. And then Florida's design said, come on over here. Whatever they were saying, you could do even more down here in Florida because we're crazy. We're crazy down here. Oh,
That's
my
why I
God.
love Florida, man. I love Florida.
You're making me homesick, man. But, Brook and Brax, they had adventures. They fought some people. I mean, I'm looking at the synopsis here. After defeating Puke, Little Dumps, and the Stank Rebels.
Yeah, that's right.
They bring
you got to make it interesting. Like I use those words to number one because it's humorous, and then number two because there's nobody else named that. Like who else is named Puke or Little Dumps?
I've seen it in movies, man.
Puke. Hey, Puke in the first book, he's a tall, skinny, white kid with red hair, spiky hair, and pimples. And Little Dumps is a short, chubby black dude with long hair and a baseball cap, trying to be an established rapper, but he's trash. His raps are trash. So, Little Dumps.
And kids, look, all right, I know everybody's so sensitive now, but I had nicknames growing up. I was, for a while, I had assumed the last name Hughes. It was my stepdad, and they read it on the back of my shirt. Hoogie? Hoogies? Haji? Haji. You're Haji now. For the whole year, I'm Haji. I was Fat Bud. I was, so many, the nicknames that kids tell each other,
crazy,
it's testing boundaries. And if somebody calls you Puke because you puked up, you made milk pass through your nose. Hey, what's up, milk nose? Don't be so sensitive.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily bullying. It's bonding. Some of it is bonding.
Yeah. And you know what? I agree with that because I have all my friends, we all have nicknames. They have nicknames for me. I have nicknames for them.
Hit me. What's the nicknames?
It's just funny. You know what I think sometimes? I think that this era is hypersensitive, like every little thing, like you and I, we're built from a different cloth. We're built from a different cloth. My skin is so thick, everything just rolls off my back. It's not a big deal because guess what? I'm coming back with something too. So be prepared for the comeback, right?
Well, just recently on a podcast, I heard Don Rickles is getting Me Too'd, or he's getting some kind of flack. They're trying to cancel Don Rickles, the man who picks on everybody since back in the 40s. That's his whole shtick, is whoever's there. White, black, red, brown, purple, gray, everybody, you're all getting picked on. Exactly the same. And he did it. Yeah. He did it more recently. The man's got to be 150 years old, and he did it more recently. And they're trying to cancel Don Rickles. Really?
Yeah.
And I think that there was a movie about the Rat Pack, and in the movie,
there was. Yep.
Because of the time, I think it was Don Cheadle that was playing Sammy Davis. Don Rickles is telling jokes, or Dean Martin, whichever one was telling jokes about Sammy Davis, and they pan over, and Don Cheadle's crying. Come on, Sammy Davis would never have cried. No way.
No, he would never cry.
If he had any problem with it, he wouldn't have been in the Rat Pack. He'd have said, "I'm out of here. That stuff is too far." No, it was 4 or 5 boys getting together, having some fun, bonding, telling the jokes, jokes.
Yeah.
It's getting hard out there.
It's a different age, man. It's a different age nowadays.
It's getting hard out there. But I realize I'm a dinosaur. I'm going to die off soon. The only thing that's going to be left behind.
Not yet, man. I need you around.
Well, I mean, the only thing that's going to be left behind for me is going to be all these little videos that I make. The one, I'm making here with you with Antonia Lumley of the Xtatic books. But what you get to leave behind is your imagination, your stories, your inspiration that you have put down on paper. I mean, tell me, what's the synopsis of the, I can read the synopsis, but I'd rather you tell me what about the rise of the Anaconda King? Who is the Anaconda King after dealing with puke and little dumps and stank rebels?
Yeah. So the puke little dumps and the stank rebels in book 1, that was a way for our characters to learn their skills, develop them. They were first bullied, by the way. They were first bullied. And see, here's one of the things that we do, Keyzan. And I tell parents all the time, don't be easy on your kids, right? We want our kids to grow up to be responsible people and humans and adults in this world, right? To where they understand right from wrong. They have empathy and sympathy, but they also work very hard. Okay, so that's what we established in book 1. But the Brook and Brax, they first got bullied, and they had to learn. They thought they could just go into the dojo and then be Spider-Man the next day. No, it doesn't work like that. So after 5 years of very rigorous training and a lot of bumps and bruises and hurt, blood, sweat, and tears, right? Even though I don't mention blood, I never mention blood in the books, by the way. Right?
All right, kids, you hear it.
Parents, I never
parents,
that.
be warned.
It's assumed. It's assumed.
Okay.
But I never mentioned that. So doing that after 5 years of rigorous training, now they have earned it. You see, it wasn't given to them. And it's the same thing. And this is the same concept that we have to teach our children. You got to earn it, man. And nothing's going to be, look, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. My kids don't have a silver spoon. And guess what? I'm not going to always be able to feed you fish. I need to show you how to fish, right? And that's what I teach my kids, and that's what I teach in the books. You got to go out and get it. And you got to work hard. You got to do good in school. And because they want to be trained so bad, what Sensei Iron Post said, he said, look, if you don't get all A's, if you don't get good grades in school, I'm not going to teach you. So it gives them some incentive, and it gives them something to work for. And then once you finally achieve your goal, it makes it that much better, right? So they finally get these ninja suits, which are the backpacks, right? Get the backpacks and their belts, and that transforms them into the superheroes, right? Which is Kaji and Leo. Their names changed from Kaji to Kaji and Leo. So in book 2, we take it to another level. So here's a little twist that I did in book 2. I mean, the storyline is crazy. Again, go back to those old kung fu movies, and you think about those storylines. It's basically the same. I just remixed it, and so their sensei is a master. Well, he had another student who was actually his adopted brother, but don't tell anybody. Okay, and so he went rogue, and then he made him flee Japan. So now you got these 2 masters in the martial arts, the 2 best in the world. One is hunting down the other. The bad one, the Anaconda King, is hunting down the other one. But the side note to this is that he has 3 students that are also ninjas and older than Brook and Brax. So it becomes like a 4-on-4 battle between 4 good ninjas and 4 bad ones. And the storyline in between is nuts.
Yeah. I mean, you can make, this is a franchise in the making. You already have the characters. I mean, growing up, hey, look, I'm a child of the 80s. Karate Kid was a movie that changed my life. Daniel-san. My name's Daniel. Daniel-san, for sure. And I had a Miyagi. My grandfather was my Miyagi. So he was the one that would train me from a young boy and make sure that I was doing it right. And you're a man that works hard, works with his hands, builds things, or, at least now that you've, after working so hard and building things, then you get to supervise people that build things. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Once you get to a certain age, you become the teacher, the supervisor, once you learn something, you got to teach the next generation. And that's what you're doing as a supervisor, as the boss Yeah. Do you still get in there and hammer nails and do all that kind of thing?
I mean, not really with the company that I'm with now, but as far as being the maintenance man in my house, yes.
No, dude.
You know about that.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love being working with hands. That's one thing that you said, that martial arts, you're not going to get it. It's not going to be instant gratification. It's not going to be instant satisfaction. There's only one man in history that I can remember that got a black belt in an unprecedented 3 days, and that's Elvis Presley. He got his black belt quick.
That's hilarious.
I was
man.
like, really? Come on, no, but I think of Bruce Lee.
I mean, to like, I'll give you a good example. Like to be a black belt in my kid's dojo, it takes like probably, and I'm just throwing out there, 10 to 12 years plus.
Yeah, there's no set
my
time.
Kids were in it for 6 to 7, and they got what they call black track. So once you get into black track, you're on your way to earning your black belt, and you have to put in so many hours. The hours of training. You know how many times you get thrown to the mat. You know how many arm bars you got to escape from. You know how. But Keys Dan, I'm gonna make it easy for you. I have all that in book 2.
Yes.
I have all that.
Yes.
You don't have to go train, man. I got it all in book 2.
What? No, you have to train. Still, it does. It's not a substitute for exercise. It's not a substitute
no, it's not. It's not a substitute.
But it definitely will be
I'm exercising the mind.
Yes.
I'm exercising the mind.
It's an enhancement.
It's different.
That's right.
I'm enhancing. Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Look, Antonia Lumley, I'm so excited, so ecstatic that I'm getting to talk to you again and catching up. I see nothing but good things. Karate Kid just came out with the new show, the Cobra Kai. Oh my goodness! Talk about storylines. I want to see that Brook and Brax become the Daniel San and the and the Lawrence, the Lawrence that go throughout time and learn that, hey, maybe one side's good, maybe one side's bad, but what is good? What is bad? Look at things from other people's angles. You say you're going to a what is it, the black belts of Christ?
Black belts for Christ.
Black belts for Christ. I imagine that there's Christian teaching in there. I've read the Bible. It's a good book of instructions, whether you believe it or not. It's a good book of instructions, and a lot of the instructions are see things from the other person's perspective. Don't just automatically, look at another people and say, "Oh, those are the people we're not supposed to like." No, don't not like somebody for their characteristics. Don't like somebody for their character. If they're actually jerks, then don't like them, or at least try to teach them. But if you got to look at somebody and talk to them for a minute. Don't just look at them for any kind of a characteristic that they have physically, or what have you. You got to actually get to know them on a deeper basis.
And then one thing, this is the last thing I'm going to say about the dojo, but one thing about the dojo is that, it's not a turn your cheek type of dojo. Right?
It's not really Christ, man. Christ turned that cheek.
It's more like, I don't want to fight, but if I have to, I'm going to mop the floor with you. So it's if I'm you, if you need to back away, and I'm gonna walk away. You back away, I'm gonna walk away. But if you advance on me, then I have to have the skills to defend myself, and that's what it is. It's all about defending yourself. I tell my kids all the time in school. Look, I'm going to tell you one thing, and I don't know if any parents would. I think most parents would agree with me, but I tell my kids, I said, if you're in school and if you get bullied, I want you to defend yourself. I said, only, I said, if they put their hands on you, you have the right to defend yourself. Now, I don't want you fighting. I don't want that. My kids do, luckily they do very well in school. So I don't want you doing that, or provoking anything, which they don't. But I said, if you get bullied and somebody puts their hand on you, have my permission to defend yourself. And here's what I told them. I said, if they hit you once, you better hit them twice. I said, you better hit them twice, and you better finish them. And by finish, I mean bring them to the ground and get, make sure that they're not going to advance on you again. And they said, well, what about the teacher? What about the teacher and the principal? I said, you let me deal with them. You have my permission to defend yourself, because that's how it's going to be any place. When you're outside of school, it's the same exact thing. So, and then it's up to me as a parent to go in there and talk to the principal or the teacher and say, look, my kid's been being bullied and nobody has done anything about it. I told him he has permission to do something about it, because that kid is going to bully my kid every single day if he doesn't do anything. So, those are a few of the principles that I stand on. But one more thing I'd like to add, here's what separates us from others who are doing what I do. I have a character in my book that is handicapped. He's in a wheelchair. And you see him on the cover too. If you look, he's kind of in the background, but he's on the cover. We have a character in the book that's dealing with autism, who was bullied. We have a female gang in the book that picks on other females, and they have to learn how to deal with that. I'm just going to read off just a couple of things. I take pride in naming my chapters, which a lot of people don't do. Like right now, and if you go to most children's books, it's like chapter 1, chapter 2. You remember back in the day we used to have a table of contents?
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
What?
Okay. They don't. So what I do in place of a table of contents, I put a chapter number and I also put a title, because I remember titles more than I do a number. Like chapter 3, like what do you mean chapter 3? Well, our chapter 3 is look both ways.
Yeah. This way, if you want to reference a part of the story or a part of the book to somebody, you can easily find it. Oh, chapter 3, that's that part that was about this thing that I want to relay. Let me go to chapter 3 and read that part that Antonio Lumley took the time to write. Perfect. Exactly,
man. And then at the end of every chapter, I have a comic book style illustration that is like a chapter summary. There's nobody doing chapter books and a comic book summary at the end. It's usually one or the other. Either you have a comic book or you have a chapter book, right? I'm doing both.
Who's illustrating?
My illustrator's name is Mark Renee. He's out of California. He did book 1. This guy is amazing. If you look at our book, he helped brand us. If you look at the colors, like the color patterns and stuff that he does, it's crazy. This guy is super talented. If anybody ever want to get in touch with him, his name is Mark Renee, or you can come through me and I'll point you in that direction. He's super busy, but that guy is amazing.
Well, fantastic, man. Hey, I know I've taken some of your time. We found out a little bit about what's going on in the world of Antonio Lumley and Xtatic books and Brook and Brax, the continuing adventures that they're going on. Give some shout outs to some people that have helped you along the way. You already gave a shout out to your illustrator. Fantastic illustrations. I'm so in awe of people that can draw and color. Is he doing the pen? When I remember in comic books, when I would read them, there was somebody who was like the artist, and then there was an inker, like somebody colored.
Yeah. Like multiple.
Yeah, but then there's those holy grails in comic books where they write it, they ink it, and they color it. They do it all, you know. So
that's him.
It's lofty. It's really lofty.
That's my guy. That's my guy, Mark Renee. Shout out to Omar McClinton, who has done my animation. By the way, I have another music video coming out by my nephew Young Pack. He did the first one. He's coming out with the next one. It's hip hop music. Is dope. Is fire. You guys gotta check that out. It's all clean. Okay. I've got animation mixed into that. Shout out to Anadari at Primero Studios. He did the production on that. I've got a good team around me. I've assembled like a little Avengers thing over here, and so these people have really helped me out and really have helped me bring this stuff to life, because these characters, the book is just a beginning. These characters are meant for a cartoon series, a big screen, whatever, because action figures, backpacks, belts, the merch could go crazy. I see that I've seen this vision for about 4 years now. And so right now the public is just starting to see what I've envisioned over this time.
Well, that's where the team gets bigger and bigger and bigger to get you to that next level. You can only go so far by yourself. Now you have to have somebody who can do the merchandising, who can get, the T-shirts, the action figures, the movies, the cartoons. You already have a guy that's making music videos. That's a very talented nephew there. But oh my goodness, there's so much that could be done with I know that you see all these comic books. People are always looking for that what do they call it? The intellectual property, the IP. They're looking for that to make it intellectual property. They're trying to get it to go do comics, to go to movies, TV shows, chapter plays. Oh my goodness, there's so much that could be done with these stories, and in turn they're going to be teaching people. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Katrina Texador for putting this together.
Cause Marketing. Katrina's been awesome. Katrina linked you and I up last year, and we've been working with her for a couple of years. She's awesome. I mean, super professional, and man, she's a bulldog, man. She makes things happen, and I love that, because that's a trait of mine. Just go out and make it happen. And so shout out to Katrina Texador at Cause Marketing Agency.
Well, I firmly believe she's part cyborg, because I don't think she sleeps. I'm getting texts or some kind of something all hours of the day and night. Something's coming up on my feed that Katrina posted something. So that's great.
She's great, man.
But Antonia Lumley, I always finish these things off with last words for the people. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. As time progresses,
no, it's not.
I'm on the Xtatic book train, the elevator going up. Okay, but you can give last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Antonio Lumley, Xtatic Books, give the last words for the people.
Well, I just want to say, you guys come follow us. We're doing good things. We're doing great things. A lot of these things have been envisioned for a long time, and it's just starting to manifest itself to the public. So come check us out at Xtatic Books. That's xtaticbooks.com. There's all the links to our social media. IG, we're at Xtatic, the number 4, and books. Come check us out there. And also Facebook. We're really trying to change things. We're really trying to change things and give the kids something bigger than what is out there now. Something, and not even just bigger, something different. You see these people recreating movies and stuff like that, the old movies like Top Gun and all these other recreations or the same characters. We have something new. We identify with the kids. And we have a great message behind it, and everything is all clean for all children. Because I have children myself, so of course I have to keep it clean. So I'm going to keep it clean for your kids too. So come check us out, and please support the BK and BX movement.
Well, there you have it, party people. Antonia Lumley, Xtatic Books, xtaticbooks.com. They're in the show notes. If you didn't hear how to spell Xtatic Books, his various if you just go to the xtaticbooks.com, you'll find all the social medias, but also the links to the social medias are down there below. so you could chase Antonio Lumley and Brook and Brax and all the people, all the cast of characters that is coming out of his brain. He's building a whole universe. Hey, how cool is that? He's building a whole universe, and we're the better for it. He's going to help to teach the children how to be better people. Yeah. Yeah. No bullying. Quit bullying. And if somebody picks on you, have a thick skin. You know, I don't know if it was picking on me. I know that at first it was picking on me, but they were testing me, testing to see how thick my skin was. And once they figured out that the bullying, the sticks and stones might break my bones, but the words never had an effect. Then they figured out, I guess we better bring him into the fold, because Haji and Fat Butt, it's not working. I guess he's our friend now. You're my new best friend. Remember when you were 7 or 8 years old and you met a new kid and you said, you're my new best friend. And guess what? She was your new best friend. That's how kids get together. I love it. I love it. I remember my childhood fondly. And I remember a lot of kung fu movies on Saturdays. So, Antonio, I'm with you there. I remember, even Bruce Lee died back in 72, 73. And really, some of his movies got retooled and re-put together and put out in the mid to late 70s. And then there was always there was a whole slew of Bruce Lee wannabes that came out. I guess Jackie Chan was the one that came out of it, but he found his own path. Originally they wanted him to be the next Bruce Lee, and he was there. He was trying to fit the mold, but he was more comedy. And then there was a Bruce Lee L.I., Bruce Lee with only one E, Bruce L.Y., there was a whole bunch of Bruce Lees of some kind or another. And then Sister of Bruce Lee, and oh my goodness, I spent whole Saturdays watching those movies. And now, hey, I'm looking forward to watching the Brook and Brax movies and the TV shows. Eventually, they'll be out there. I know they will. They're out in the universe, and they just want to grow, and they're going to grow with the people. So you keep that brain working and building this universe, and we'll be the better for it. Thank you so much, Antonio Lumley, for being on the program. And thank you, Katrina Texador of COS Marketing, COSmarketing.com, for putting us together. See, that's people helping people. And that's what we're doing. We got to help each other. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Thank you, Antonio Lumley, once again for being on the podcast. Now, I'm turning my attention to you, my loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.